getting you images for the last many weeks of Vijay's rallies. And that's why there are many who say that this was something that was waiting to happen. Images on your screens of O. Paneerselvam now, who's also reached there in Karur. So political leaders are lining up one after another. You've had Chief Minister Stalin, the Deputy Chief Minister Udayanidhi, AIADMK Chief Edappadi Palaniswamy, a BJP delegation, O. Paneerselvam, and yet no one from the TVK who's been there on ground, meeting with these families, expressing their condolences, sending them a message that we're with you at this time. And that's absolutely bizarre. That let alone Vijay, he hasn't bothered to send any representatives from his party to be there with the people at this difficult time. Because mind you, these were supporters of Vijay. These were people who came together to catch one glimpse of their favorite star. And unsurprisingly, that favorite star is nowhere to be seen to stand with his fans, with his people at this particular time. R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, is with us on this broadcast. Mr. Upadhyay, unfortunately in this country, we've seen these kind of incidents happen repeatedly, and yet no lessons are learned. To you, sir, looking at what's happening right now, are you disappointed by how the TVK, by how Vijay has responded to what's happened?
Akshita, I'm totally shocked about this incident. I'm still trying to process what could have happened and how it could have happened. I mean, this is something unpardonable. Unpardonable for any political party to be so disorganized and allow this kind of a thing to happen. And I tell you, Vijay has to take complete responsibility for what has happened. And he has just run away from the scene, which is very, very sad. And in fact, even look at his statement after reaching Chennai. He says he's shattered and then, it was unbearable loss and all that. And I think he should have very clearly said, I'm ashamed of what happened and I regret what has happened and I would like to be with them. And he should have sent his men. Where are his party men? They should have been there with the people now, consoling them and trying to tell them how it happened and what they will do. I think, the whole business has to be looked at, from the crowd control point of view. Vijay should never be allowed to have so many people in one rally. And I think certain rules have to be set in place. And one is, I mean, see, there are reports that, the generators were off in some places and that led to a panic. One woman was trying to look for a child and that's how the whole panic began. So I think there should be no rallies allowed after dusk.
No, Mr. Upadhyay, you speak of rules. 30 plus restrictions were spoken of for Vijay's rallies. I remember there was a whole lot of outrage over it. Clearly, that was the need of the hour, these 30 plus restrictions. But what is the point of none of that is followed? So, on one hand, yes, there are questions being asked of the TVK and Vijay. But on the other, what was the local administration doing? How is it that from 10,000, you got numbers climbing up to 50,000 and nothing was done to stop it?
No, I think that is where the lines have to be drawn. Of course, the administration is also to be blamed for what has happened. But the point is that Vijay, he is turned into a mass leader. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But then I feel this is a mafia kind of politics. You can't. It's irresponsible politics. How can you have so many people in a place where you can't accommodate so many? And he should have a planning team which will look at all these aspects. How many people can gather in a particular place? He should know. All this has to be done, before the rally is held. I mean, you invite or allowed 50,000 people to come, where only 10,000 people can be there. So it's a responsibility of the political leader. How is the administration to know that how many people are going to come? So, I mean, the responsibility is there on both sides, but I think Vijay has to take much more responsibility if he wants to be in Tamil Nadu politics. I think otherwise, his stock will go down so quickly that, he will not be accepted with people. I mean, it's not that he's not the first, mass leader. Tamil Nadu has had very, very big mass leaders. Anandare was a mass leader. Karunanidhi was a mass leader. MGR was a mass leader. Did they ever behave like this with their, masses? I mean, they were responsible people. They didn't allow this kind of a, mass hysteria.
I think it's very clear. We're not asking for Vijay, the politician, to speak out. We're not saying Vijay, the superstar, should speak out. Being humane, showing empathy. You'd think that's the basic need at this time. that you speak out, you're there with the people, and you shoulder a great deal of the responsibility. You may cry conspiracy, you may say it was the police, but at the end of the day, this was an event in which people came together to see you. And there are questions being asked of Vijay. Why? Because the reality is that the rally was expected to happen somewhere between 12 to 3. What time did Vijay turn up? At 7. 4 hours. 4 hours, people were made waiting there in the hot sun in Tamil Nadu. Everyone knows how hot it gets there. And then you had all of this time, so people kept continuing to trickle in, anticipation building up. This craze for getting the right kind of photo, of having these massive shots of crowds, of a sea of crowd, all of that, we've gone too far to have just get that perfect shot. We allowed as many people as we wanted. That's what happened essentially in Karur. That in one lane, you had 50,000 people gathered. And just imagine the plight of so many of those people. You can't even turn around. You can't even move in the direction you want. It's so hot, you're unable to breathe. And there's no water, there's no provision made. Even if someone fell unconscious, there was no way for an ambulance to even reach them. That by itself is a huge, huge lapse. 50,000 people there. 500 cops. What can they even do in the face of something like this? 500 cops trying to help out 50,000 people. I want to bring in Dr. Sandeep Shastri, also political analyst and commentator on this broadcast. Dr. Shastri, it's at a very, very unfortunate time that we're having this conversation of 39 people having died. 10 of those little children. And I think all of us are angry, all of us are grieving, and all of us want answers about what went wrong, because Dr. Shastri, this was, and I'm sure you agree with me, a tragedy waiting to happen. Every rally that we saw of Vijay saw unprecedented crowds. Anyone who'd seen what happened the last week and the weekend before that would have said, look, maybe there's a need for better preparations on ground.
Akshita, yes, anguish, yes, anger, yes, frustration. And we have seen such a story repeating itself time and again. Upadhyay and others would know what happened in Bangalore when the RCB victory happened. Now, if things go well, everyone wants to take credit for what has happened. If there is a problem, rather than finding a solution and preventing such a problem from coming back, we start the blame game. One side blames the other side, and nobody really has that empathy for the people who have suffered this tragedy. Now, I would believe every stakeholder involved is responsible for what. Vijay knew the quantum of people who have been coming to his rally. Vijay's organizers should have made sure that adequate facilities were there, adequate precautions were there in the event of an emergency like this. We have organized functions. We know how organizers are required to take we are supposed to take precautions to prevent such things. The government, yes, is also accountable, but then to pass on the entire blame to the administration, I think is not fair, because the administration can only do that much. And being your followers, it's important that I also, as a leader, take control of the situation and make sure that things go properly. So I think there needs to be a concert between the various forces involved. And I hope what has happened will be a lesson for those in the future.
Yeah.
What has happened is wrong. What has happened should have been prevented. What has happened could have been prevented. And I think people need to take responsibility for this. Those who organized it, those who were responsible for bringing the crowds in, those who were responsible to maintain or ensure management of the crowd.
Correct.
And of course, those responsible
No,
for
that's exactly why we've referred to this as a man-made tragedy, a tragedy waiting to happen.